Hi, and welcome back to our discussion of the geology of the Caribbean. This will be part 11. We will talk about the islands of Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and Margarita Island off the coast of Venezuela. You know what? Barbados is really in the Atlantic Ocean, east of the other islands of the West Indies. So we can say that Barbados is the easternmost island in the Lesser Antilles. The topography or the terrain in Barbados is pretty flat in comparison to the neighboring islands that you find on the west. Barbados, as far as the topography goes, the island rises gently to the central highland region, with the high point being Mount Hilby at an altitude of 1,115 feet above sea level, located in the geological Scotland district. A large portion of Barbados is circled by coral reefs. Uh, Caves and gullies are found in the limestone terrain of the Scotland district. Please refer to the sketch diagram. Sea stacks and erosional boulders can be seen along the coastline of Barbados. On the island of Barbados, you can see some pretty impressive outcrops of steeply dipping strata, as you can see here. Well, Barbados lies on the boundary of the South American tectonic plate and the Caribbean tectonic plate. If you remember from our previous discussion, tectonically, this area is a mess. Subduction of the South American plate beneath the Caribbean tectonic plate scrapes sediment from the South American plate and deposits it above the subduction zone, forming an accretionary prism. Consequently, the island is rising about 1 inch per 1,000 years. Now, Pleistocene limestone cover a complex basement of Eocene age that consists of a mixture of terrigenous and marine clastic sediments as well as marine strata. Let's talk about the key lithologies that we find in Barbados, and we will go from older to younger. The Eocene basement rocks beneath the limestone cover are an alloctonous sequence of marine sediments. The oldest beds are clastic sedimentary rocks which were folded, thrusted, and covered by mud flows. Let's talk now about the lithologies that go from the Eocene to the Miocene. We can say that Eocene turbidites and radiolarites are covered by Miocene napes that are in frost contact with younger pelagic strata and volcanic ash. These rocks are intruded by diapirs with an organic mud matrix. Oceanic strata were deposited over the basement complex. Older limestones occur in the central portions of the island. Biomicrites, chalk, radiolarian earth, and volcanic tuff were folded, uplifted, eroded, submerged, and covered with Oligocene to Miocene marl. Let's talk now about the younger strata that we find on the island. We can say that Barbados is covered with Pleistocene limestone formations. Miocene to Pliocene folding and post-Pleistocene uplift and fracturing are seen on the island. The coalescence of discontinuous coral reefs and ongoing tectonic movements during eustatic low stands formed a series of terraces consisting of back reef, reef crest, and forereef deposits. Now let's address the islands of Trinidad, Tobago, and Margarita Island off the coast of Venezuela. I will tell you that although I have not visited these islands in person, during the years that I taught professional courses for PDVSA, Petroleum of Venezuela in Caracas, I became somewhat familiar with this region. I made several trips to Venezuela, and during that time, I learned about the geology of this area. Trinidad has a surface area of 1,850 square miles. It lies just 7 miles northeast of the coast of Venezuela and is part of the South American continent. The highest point on Trinidad is El Cerro del Aripo at an elevation of 3,083 feet above sea level. The island of Trinidad is crossed by three distinct mountain chains that are a continuation of the Venezuelan coastal cordillera. The northern range is an outlier of the Andes Mountains of Venezuela and forms the rugged hills that parallel the coast. El Cerro del Aripo is located within this range. The central range extends diagonally across the island and is mainly a low-lying range with swampy areas with a maximum elevation on the order of 1,000 feet above sea level. The southern range is really a section of broken hills, also with a maximum elevation of about 1,000 feet above sea level. The island of Tobago has an area of 115 square miles and is located about 20 miles northeast of the island of Trinidad. Tobago is mountainous and dominated by an 18-mile long main ridge with elevations up to about 1,800 feet above sea level. In terms of a geological summary, let us start with Trinidad. We can say that the Eocene clastic sedimentation and diastrophism, as well as the Miocene to Pliocene folding that we see in Barbados, is also represented in Trinidad. Jurassic and Cretaceous strata crop out on the island as part of the folded northern range. The oldest sequence of rocks includes phyllite, quartz veins, and limestone. A younger system of less metamorphosed Cretaceous rocks include limestone and shale. Folding in the northern range occurred first during the Cretaceous period, followed by some minor volcanic activity. Sedimentary deposition then followed. Subsequent folding resulted from a strong Miocene diastrophic or orogenic episode. The schists that we found in the northern range of Trinidad and in northern Tobago exhibit a similar degree of metamorphism. As far as a geological summary for Tobago, we can say that Cretaceous metamorphosed volcanic rocks are found along the northern part of the island. Schists and phyllite are seen in isoclinal folds. Going south, there is an igneous belt of ultramafic rocks and diorite-rich plutons, as well as andesitic and basaltic flows. These rocks were later faulted in the Eocene. Undeformed fossiliferous clay and sand of Miocene to Pliocene age lie unconformably over the deformed igneous lithologies. As far as a geological summary for Margarita Island of the coast of Venezuela, we can say that schists intruded by sheared quartz diorite and serpentinized peridotite are found on the northern portion of the island. South of the schist area, slightly metamorphosed sediments can be seen. Going further south and along the southern coast of the island, Cretaceous sediments are folded into a syncline. The main diastrophic episode in Margarita Island occurred during the Cretaceous period. Miocene ultramafic rocks are seen also on the island, and moderate deformation occurred in the Eocene to Miocene time frame. Well, this concludes part 11. We will go now into part 12, which addresses the Dutch Leeward Islands of Aruba, Curaçao, and Bonaire.